I have answered the North Vietnamese this morning, thanking them for their reply, outlining the humanitarian, private nature of our trip, and stating that the two large chartered jets, Peace on Earth and Goodwill Toward Men, will leave the continental United States tomorrow afternoon. I have further asked the North Vietnamese for approval upon landing in Asia to travel alone in a small chartered plane to Hanoi to meet with the North Vietnamese government officials, outline our plans, answer their questions, and hopefully gain approval. As I mentioned yesterday, we have chartered a third plane. This plane has been named the Spirit of Christmas. Many wives of prisoners have approached us with requests to spend Christmas with their children in Paris. The finest Christmas present these children could receive would be to know the status of their fathers. Consequently, these families will be going to Paris on Christmas Day in an effort to find out the status of fathers, some of whom have been missing for nearly 5 years.
Was their wording in any way discouraging or cut off? Do you feel that they have put any barriers, or is the door still open to negotiation?
They gave us a route to send our packages. The route they gave us, the supply pipeline open to us, is not big enough to handle the volume that we would like to bring to the prisoners, and the reason for the volume is to make this material available through outside sources and not require these resources to be made available to prisoners at the expense of the North Vietnamese economy or its people.
So you're not really discouraged by their
Not a bit. I think the problem is that the Mexican American wants to be accepted as a human being. His dignity as a person is at stake right now.
He's not treated as a human being at the moment?
I don't think so. No. This is my personal opinion, and this is what bothers many of the Mexican Americans, that they are not recognized as persons.
So the demands that are being made in schools for bilingual education and certain courses to be taught, these are just small items within a much larger problem.
Yes, this is a move, really, because they as human beings have a heritage that can be just as valuable as any other heritage. And they feel that they have a contribution to make to this nation, and they have contributed to the making of this nation. And why should they be denied the privilege of being a contribution to this country? I think if this bilingual program could be taught in every school, or some courses could be offered in regard to Mexican Americans in Texas, I think there will be a better line of communication between the Mexican Americans and the Anglo as such, because I have just as much to contribute to you as a person as you have to contribute to me as a person. So I think it will be an enrichment to both Mexican American and Anglo.
It's lack of balance. I'm well aware that there are many points of view in the United States. went on the issue of marriage, and as it relates to sex, 2 out of 3 of the panelists don't believe in marriage. I don't believe you've got a balanced point of view.
And what is your concern primarily about trying to change this?
Oh, I'm not at all concerned about the conference that we had. This was a preliminary conference. The 3 preliminary conferences feed into the main White House conference in the late winter. Out of that will come a report to the nation. I don't want in that report to the nation the thing to be loaded on the side of those, it's not just marriage, but other various other issues that are involved, dope, drugs, education. I don't want the youth rebellion, I don't want it to be loaded 2 to 1 against such things as marriage and use of drugs.
You haven't had much success, have you, in trying to get something done?
No, we preachers have a hard time. The minute you write a letter to Washington about something, they say, oh, it's just a crackpot preacher, and they send you a nice letter that they appreciate your letters.